not 100 degrees. In North Carolina, it has been very hot, and it's maybe cooling off a teensy bit. So there you have it. We live on the Albemarle Sound, which is about an hour from the Outer Banks, northeastern North Carolina. I've lived in northeastern North Carolina, well, in eastern North Carolina my whole life. I lived in Rocky Mount, and now I live an hour north. And then in between, I lived in Raleigh and Aspen, Chapel Hill. Raleigh, Aspen, Chapel Hill, Atlantic Beach. Those are the only other places. That's not very many places to live, is it? And I'm getting ready to put my autistic person to sleep, and just was trying to think of a way of, like, at the end of every month, it would be nice to kind of have a wrap up and say, okay, what are some things we talked about that were good this month? What are some things you would like to talk about next month? Because I enjoy input, and I have a member group, subscriber group on Facebook, and we have morning coffee chats, and that's really a great place for more conversations. And that is a bad cat on this. So there's that. But I still love my big page. So there's that. We have a kitten at our house that rode home in a car engine, and the kitten is trying to tear up all my furniture, and it's not going to be allowed to do that. So there's that. Hello from Canada. Yeah, September. Has been a lot. We've had some big conversations, some shootings, some new things from Camp Mystic that have come out. I have a senior in high school writing essays. Love your shirt. Last day of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I've been fundraising for more research. Oh, I love that, Michelle. As you know, my big brother died of cancer, and that's really great. Did this just start? Yes. The government is shutting down. Vote over. Oh, that's like something that I can't even worry about. I feel like I've heard about the government shutting down so many times over the last 10 years. I don't even pay attention. Not even in my hemisphere of importance. 2.5 more college acts to get in. It's bad times. I mean, it's good. So my son Russell was inducted into the National Honor Society tonight. So my mom and dad came to visit. My husband and I and Russell, we went to the high school, and there was a great, nice ceremony. And then we went out to dinner. My parents took us to dinner, and that was really fun. My in-laws died this past year. My mother-in-law died in January. My father-in-law died in May. And we miss them, And so it's like, okay, you really do. Like last Christmas, we were all together. And so we're really trying to be cognizant of what is gone and who's here now. And anyway, it's different. We miss them in a different way than, just weren't. I don't think you ever expect. You don't expect to lose 2 people in a matter of 4 months, much less both your parents. And they're my husband's parents. So we had a really nice time. We went to dinner, and my parents have done a nice job kind of showing up for things, because it's not always easy to get here and do things. And it's really nice. My brother died. I was 15. I'm almost 51. 35 years ago. And I don't miss him every day. Like, he's not the first thing I think of in the morning anymore, you know? And I think of him, I think of him every day. I sometimes think, like, have I never missed a day where I didn't think of him? I think I always think of him every day. But when I really miss him now, is I miss him for stuff like this, like tonight, you know, or his children or the relationship we would have had. That's what I miss now.
Live video?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Going to the fridge to grab milk.
Oh. I was going to take that milk and mix it half with water.
Why?
Because it's $9 a gallon.
Oh. Maybe just drink less milk.
No, you can drink milk, but I was just thinking we could pour a little water in there and kind of make it go further.
I'll just drink less milk.
No, don't drink less milk. I like you to drink the milk. This cat is we're gonna have to put tape all over the furniture. It's in the freezer downstairs. Freezer. It's in the freezer. When is Russell gonna come on to talk to us? He might come on later. That would be a good subscriber something. My parents brought him food. They brought him 6 steaks and this kitten is really about to get in trouble. What milk is $9? A gallon of organic milk is $9. Hold on, let me get this cat. You are not going to tear up the house. Your heart is beating fast because you are tearing up everything we own. Yes, you're not going to tear up this house. Now you can tag the mouse. Yes, Russell is a senior. He's graduating, going to college next year. We don't know where. We're like everybody else in the country. We are, it's just so dramatic and exhausting. We're not really worried about it. We know he'll go somewhere. So that's good. The cat is so big now. Yes, he really is big. So this morning I did a video on YouTube about Jane Stelfox. Jane, are you the same Jane that writes mean comments to my friend Kate Swenson? I know I've seen your name before. And I don't waste money at the coffee shop, Jane. No, I don't. Does Amos like his new book? Yes, he does. But I did a video this morning, and it was really, I think, an important conversation. And you.
Really?
So many basement dwellers out and about into my house. Amos, are you ready for night-night?
No, I need banana.
You have some of this beef stew.
Well, don't eat that beef stew. Eat the beef stew from the big container.
Same beef stew, right?
Yeah, but I'm taking that to our neighbor. Are you still hungry?
Yep.
Well, put it in a paper bowl and put a paper towel on top of it so it doesn't go everywhere.
Gotcha.
You bought the best scratching link. Oh. So anyway, I talk about things generally that are asking every live to see how it makes their day. What is your favorite memory? My favorite memory ever? My favorite memory was when my second son, Russell, was born.
I'm not giving you brownie points for saying that in front of me.
You don't hear ice cream. He's making beef stew.
We have ice cream?
I'm sure we do have ice cream. What did you miss about Russell? Nothing. You missed nothing.
What?
Well, and if you
What did you miss about me? Yeah. Was there?
April. I am appalled. The group picture with Tweety and the M girls in 725, 21 days. Yeah, so Camp Mystic, July 4th. On July 25th, there was a picture that came out on a public social media. I saw it on Threads. And the picture was of Tweety Eastland with one picture with one young lady, which I showed the picture, but I covered her face. And the second picture was Tweety Eastland and a large group of teenage girls. And I don't blame teenage girls ever, because they are children and their parents, put them in situations. But this picture was taken the night of Lenny McCown's funeral in Austin. So Tweety Eastland went to the funeral that day, and then that night went to what appears to be a cocktail party. And it just really is a kind of a slap in the face. Like, at this point, several children had not been found or buried, and there was a party. And so I don't know how you get to a point where you're like, you know what? I get being together and wanting to spend time together when something terrible happens. Like, I totally, really get that. But the idea of giving these M's out because the girls were going to miss their closing ceremony is. So Jan said, I can't say I haven't been to a funeral and had another event. So Jan, that's normal, but this was not exactly a regular funeral, right? This was a little deeper than that. It's not quite the same thing. And so I got these messages, and it's really interesting how people are so defensive. And I said, it feels to me like you would have to be really narcissistic to think that your experience with camp is the most important experience, and to like take a picture and share it on social media just would have to feel, the fact that it didn't feel wrong is worrisome. And the fact that nobody would say to these teenagers, you know what, we're not going to do the M ceremony this year. We have small children still missing, or maybe it gets mailed to you later, or maybe we don't worry about it, but it's really not a priority. And one of the parents said to me, because the parents have been reaching out, and they're like, thank you for sticking up for us. And I'm like, well, holy cow, you need somebody to, because these people are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, I just didn't know people could act like this. And I'm from the South. I'm from a nice family. I've grown up privileged, but I would say I'm not entitled. And if my child survived a flood that killed 27 campers, and that somebody said to me, let's have a closing ceremony party since we can't be there, I'd be like, what you talking about, Willis? That's really inappropriate. it just seems so wrong to be writing these parents when they are trying to bury your daughter with one set of parents still not writing. I don't know what that means, writing. Yeah, I didn't write to the parents. The parents reached out to me. So there's that, Rita. But thank you for playing. So I'm going to just tell you what um, some of the parents said. So a mother this morning, I read her op-ed. Carrie Hanna wrote an op-ed, which she sent it to me, and I thought that was really, really important. And so I read that this morning in my other video. But I did ask, so the parents that had reached out, I said to them, how did this party make you feel? And different parents responded. One parent said, I went there for 14 years as a camper and a counselor. I was close to the Eastlands. I considered them all friends. I never thought they would hurt my girls or any girls on purpose. But I see now that by doing nothing, you are doing something completely wrong and deadly. When I first saw the post, I thought it was a little odd. Getting my M was a huge honor and accomplishment. It is in my closet still. I know a lot of the girls were struggling, so maybe that's why they did it then. Now, 3 months later, I am flabbergasted. One, that they did it, and two, that they went public with it. Tweety was at Lenny's funeral that day. It's disgusting. We were barely 2 to 3 weeks out. How are they thinking about M's when girls died and are still missing? We were also told most of the office was ruined. So how did those make it out okay? It's all in such poor taste. Most parents were very upset, as they should have been. As we have said, we have had extremely limited communication with them, and then they go and do this. Evidently, they had said there was going to be no funeral for Dick Eastland until they found Seal. But they still haven't found Seal. There's never been a funeral for Dick Eastland, yet they sent an email out and said, we're going to open up the camp. This woman named Wendy said to me, sent me this message today and said, you are using the pain and anger of these grieving families to draw attention to yourself and profit off of them. It is absolutely sickening. And who is really the narcissist here? The one who is promoting herself for personal gain through another's grief. I've been accused of a lot of things. I'm a real advocate. I would never, ever do anything to hurt a family that lost a child. I think I know better than Wendy here what that feels like. It's devastating. And if you haven't lost a child or a sibling, and know that the rest of your life you will wake up on Thanksgiving and Christmas, or when you have a baby, or when your child graduates, you will miss that other person so much that you just don't know if your heart can keep beating. And that's where I am in that. I think there is, I have this blog and it's called Tales of an Educated Debutante, and I'm seen as kind of like pretend something. So if David Muir talks about something, nobody would say to David Muir, like, you're trying to profit by having a Dateline special, but this other friend, yes, yes.
I'm still hungry.
Okay, well then you can have some grapes. This friend of mine said,
No,
people are going
not
nuts
cereal.
because they look like psychopaths to the rest of the world. And I think that's it. It's like we're trying to keep it all together and we want to keep people quiet. I mean, my friends in Houston and Dallas are like, oh my gosh, like these people are crazy. Like it's almost hard to talk about because they act like they own Camp Mystic. And it's like, no, you don't own Camp Mystic. And you don't get to speak for families who lost children. You don't get to put yourself in a more important spot.
When it comes to things.
You know, it's not, you're not allowed. Another mom said to me, people's comments like that are adding so much pain to our families who are already going through the unimaginable, literally unimaginable. My biggest concern when I dropped my daughter off from camp was that she would wear enough sunscreen and somebody would help her brush her beautiful hair. I never once even considered she wouldn't be safe at camp. I don't know much about the M ceremony. I did not go to Mystic, but many of us were aware when it happened and saw the photos. It was devastating, and they were partying, and our girls weren't even all buried yet, not to mention found.
Like that. Enjoy them, right?
So it's just,
What is for
I, it's just a lot to wrap your mind around that this has happened and has been just allowed to, everybody's allowed to do whatever they want. And it's really sad. It's really sad because at the end of the day, there are these families and their hearts are broken. I lost my daughter in the floods at Camp Mystic. I was a loyalist, having been a camper and counselor for 14 years. We also had a daughter survive. Here's an op-ed I wrote. It blows my mind people don't see what really happened or didn't happen that night. The trauma the girls survived experienced is bad enough. Thank you for shedding light on this horrible night and the events after. It's really important to shed a light when things are bad. This isn't negative. This isn't anything. Another parent said, if any of these people took the time to watch our testimonies in front of the Senate committee, they may see what we are talking about or all the op-eds various parents have put out there. They are ignorant, and I'm doing my best to give them grace until all facts come out. And after that, if they are still so dedicated to a place and nostalgia over 27 girls dying, then I don't know what I could say, and it would be futile. These people only hear what they want to hear. Thank you for being, another one said, thank you for being supportive and sticking up for the families who lost daughters at Camp Mystic. Every day it seems something new and terrible comes out about that night. So I had gotten this this message from Ashley. So this is like the general response. This is the general response of the narcissist of Camp Mystic. There's a whole slew of people, very defensive. You know, this was an accident. This was unavoidable. Nobody could have done anything, regardless of the fact that the flood plan was stay in your cabin, never leave your cabin unless an adult says to leave. And that multiple children have said, counselor too, should we leave our cabin? No, stay in your cabin. Adrian. So right when somebody uses your name, you better watch out because they're about to read you the riot act. You're not gonna have cereal. You've already had dinner.
I'm still hungry.
Well, you can have some grapes.
No, not grapes.
Okay, just a minute. Adrian, as adults, we all know we can, if only, all day long, and we still have no idea what the outcome would have been. That is an exercise in futility that also prolongs pain. I love when people pretend to be psychologists. The parents of the Mystic Angels were incredible in their quick action to pass legislation that will try and prevent future similar tragedies. And for that, we, Mystic alumni, and current moms of campers. I mean, if this doesn't scream passive aggressive, I don't know what does. We, Mystic alumni and current moms of campers, are so grateful. I mean, this is horrible. As we in North Carolina know, one can read online all about a tragedy far from home and not completely understand a host of things, from topography to government regulations to past experience to the absolute scale of destruction.
Mommy,
What?
I want cereal.
All right. Western North Carolina was decimated by Helene. Never did we expect that, but hopefully we have all learned a few things that will limit future loss. Please have some grace for all of us who were personally impacted by the July 4th tragedy that killed 119 souls in Carr County alone. Everyone on this thread knows someone who was lost that horrible night along the river. Be kind with our broken hearts. Kiss my ass, Ashley. That's what I have to say to you. You don't have a broken heart. You didn't lose a child. Just because you live in Texas and you have a child at Camp Mystic and you used to go to Camp Mystic doesn't mean you're the expert. You don't get to play victim. You're not the victim. You're not. Ashley's not a victim. Wendy's not a victim. Hope is not a victim. Just go through all the. Dana, you're not a victim. No. No, you're not. Dana, Hope, Wendy, Ashley, stop messaging me. Stop. Or I'm going to start sharing your last name. And I'm going to share the messages you sent me. Would you like that? I don't think you would. Because you own some big businesses in Texas. And how do you think your clients are going to feel when they see the kind of mess that you message people? Especially message someone who is standing up for families whose daughters were killed. I mean, are you on crack? Holy cow. I don't even care. It's so offensive. Like, I didn't know real humans existed that could say shit like that. I really didn't. I honest to goodness, maybe I have lived in a tunnel, but I did not know that people talked like this. I just didn't.
Zombies.
I truly did not know. I was trying to find something somebody had said the other day. The narcissists are trying to put themselves in a place they don't belong. I just cannot. It just blows the mind. It really does. I mean, Camp Mystic said this was an unimaginable accident. Was it an unimaginable accident?
At me, come.
Here's what the flood plan said.
At me.
All cabins are constructed on high, safe locations. There was an appeal to FEMA by the Eastland family in 2011 to remove Camp Mystic from the special flood hazard area. More appeals to remove buildings from being listed in hazard areas in 2013, 2019, 2020. But on Monday, a week ago yesterday, an email goes out that says, we are not only rebuilding cabins and trails, but also a place where laughter, friendship, and spiritual growth will continue to flourish. We look forward to welcoming you back inside the green gates. Like, really? How do you think that's going to feel to people who their lives will never, ever be the same? Blake Bonner said, this wasn't an act of God. This was an act of pure complacency. It was 100% preventable failure. It was a failure of planning, prevention, detection, and response. Our daughters paid an ultimate price for their obedience to a plan that was destined to fail. Oh, this was really a message I got. We'll just end on this one. This person's message is beside entitled narcissist in the dictionary. The cabins for the youngest girls were closest to the river. They were not. So the flats is where the cabins were. So they weren't the closest to the river, but you have to understand it was all the same height, right? So the senior girls were up on the hill because they would do a lot of walking. But the flats, once water came in, water moved in. It wasn't that they were closest to the river. So here's this post I got. And immediately, just go with me here. Just look at what this person's doing. Tales of an Educated Debutante. I won't read it in my Southern voice because that really makes Southern people very unhappy. This post makes me so sad. If I remember correctly, y'all are a camping family. This is the same person who let me know that people in Rocky Mount that she knew, she didn't think they would like this. And that the camp where I'm on the board, how do they feel about me speaking out like this? Basically, a lot of threats. If I remember correctly, y'all are a camping family. Basically, you're also entitled. So you should know better. Mystic, Waldemar, Hot of the Hills, Camp La Junta. So this person, one of the people was really mad that I mispronounced La Junta because this narcissist spelled it La Juanita in my post. So her fellow cult member is the one that misspelled it. Longhorn, Camp Champion, you name it, with 3 exclamation points. These Texas camps are generations old, just as Seafair, Seagull, Green Cove, etc., etc. Mystic has been a pillar in families for 99 years. It has poured into thousands of girls across the country. It's very easy to get online updates and make assumptions, but these girls need each other. Just like we are still having alumni Mystic Zoom calls each Monday because we need each other. Closing the camp and separating everyone would not be helpful. Have you seen the outpour in Dallas and Houston and Austin? Why, yes, actually. Funny you should ask. I have seen that. I have seen the outpour because there's a party in Austin the night of Lenny's funeral. Look at there. Tweety's at a party giving out M's. So yeah, I've seen the outpouring. Camp is what weaves 6 generations together. They will be putting safety measures in place so that when the next 1,000-year flood comes, they will be ready. If you have never been to Hill Country, or even better yet, been to Mystic, please don't make assumptions from the clips you're getting from the media. I'm actually hearing from the families, and they they seem pretty knowledgeable in my mind about what is truth and yeah. I so appreciate having families reach out because they have more to do than to worry about Adrian. But I think it's really helpful because I wouldn't feel good about um, speaking on behalf of families if I didn't know what the families were thinking. You know, I think that's really important and why I've continued to talk. I think if the narcissist quit sending me messages and like calling colleagues and people that I work for to try to tattle on me, I probably wouldn't have, I probably still wouldn't be talking about this. Though I do care. And I realized, boy, it really needs talked about because these families, they have a right to be heard and be seen. You know, it's really important for them to feel like people love them. Um, it, can't they just make a website? I personally know the families of two of the campers and am close to multiple people who are close to other families. Some of them may thank you, but many others would be hurt to see someone so far removed from the situation weighing in. They just want privacy. Those here who are upset with this post are just as right as those who thank you for it. When it comes to complex matters of grief, no one is right. Well, Jessica, you didn't lose a child there, and I would say that the families that have lost a child get to have the most say. I mean, let's just be honest. Right? Are they emailing you? Emailing, messaging. Emailing and messaging. And, you know, I think the takeaway from it for me is to want families to know how important accreditation is. And today, this, you know, one nut was trying to tell me that Texas, you know, you have to have licensed camps. Well, hello, 34 states, you have to have a licensed camp. It doesn't mean you have to do anything. Texas does not have stringent guidelines. Clearly, Texas doesn't have stringent guidelines. Or somebody would have said, this flood plan was not exactly a flood plan, right? And then the argument was, well, that was everybody else's flood plan. Well, hello. Is that supposed to make people feel better? Everybody had a terrible flood plan? What in the hell? One person said, Helen, this was a private email sent to the current camp families so they can make arrangements as to what to do for next summer. This is the email the camp sent. Helen didn't like me sharing the email because she said it was private. This is the same Helen that sent me a message and then told me I wasn't allowed to share it. Helen, that's not how it works. I said, Helen, this was not to make arrangements. These parents had buried their daughter. What arrangements would they need to make? Why don't you write a letter to the parents and tell them that they are being silly to be upset? I am referring to the 200 other campers that would like to attend camp next summer, said Helen. Well, that's good, Helen, because I'm really worried about these families and their plans for next summer. Oh, I'm just losing sleep over it, sweating. Sadly, the families that lost their children won't be doing that. Well, that's nice, Helen. Thank you for reminding us. Many are members of our church and our community. We have supported and will continue to support them. Although I was in North Carolina at the time, my husband attended several funerals and has written personal letters. Helen should get a Purple Heart. I mean, Helen has lost her mind. I mean, I just don't understand how people can say families need to make plans for next summer. I mean, it's, it is not. Then she says, I would be careful about talking about stuff online that you don't know anything about. I support you to research a little better before you respond. Then Jerry said, this is an absolutely disgusting post. Camp Mystic nor any of the other camps that had catastrophic loss of property and precious life that day could have prepared for this. Shame on you for speaking on anyone's behalf. Otherwise, our community is very much mourning such losses, but we are also supportive of those who need it most. And then Dana says, are you from Carr County? Like, the state requires these emergency plans, but they don't even review them. What?
Shut the door. That's Debutante.
Oh, all right.
I want you.
The world, Kristen says this, the world doesn't stop. And these other children need routines and socialization, not isolation. I don't understand how they can accuse the Eastlands of being insensitive when they lost their own family member. That would be like saying to Dylan Klebold's mother that she couldn't have done anything wrong because she lost her son. Kim said, none of you know the Eastlands. It's just really something. We see how you somehow got your hands on this letter. This is what Amber said to me, floating around the internet. But we are a Cypress family. The girls were safe during the flood here, and except for a lack of power, not one girl was harmed. If your children don't go here, you're entitled to your own opinion. But since mine does, we support this until there are facts and evidence that there was massive negligence going on from these two owners. This guy, actually, it's a female, not a guy, a physician. She said, I don't live in Texas and I've never been to summer camp. I'm all for camaraderie and tradition, but not at the safety of our children. I don't care who you are or what history you have, but if you're taking shortcuts and not adequately supplying your camp with safety guards in place When you know the risk, you are jeopardizing the lives of every camper that steps foot on your property, and you are responsible for their deaths. Despite the tradition y'all are all jabbering about, it's pretty foolish to send your child back to a camp where safety was not a priority. So many things should have happened differently in order to be better prepared for an emergency. And had they done that, those sweet souls would be returning to camp this summer also. Shame on all of you who are putting tradition above safety and making people feel bad about it. You can't have tradition with dead children. Safety should always be first. Thank you, Doctor, for sharing that. I think that's really important. And you might be like, why is she still talking about this? I think because at some point, I just think there's no way human beings could be this insensitive to these families. You know? And so I think now it's like, if you are a part of, if you're a part of the Camp Mystic family and you loved it and you have wonderful memories, you need to know that nearly all of the families are broken. They are broken. Reading these comments, not being supportive, it is killing them. I'm not getting rich talking about this, I promise you. What do I make on a video now? Like $2.50? I would hope if it were my child, somebody would speak up for me. You know, and I have built a platform and I can use it for good. Maybe I use it for Hanya Aguilar, who was kidnapped. Maybe I use it to sell wrapping paper for my son's Title I school. Maybe I use it to share about little children with special needs being abused by their teachers. But I will use it for good. And as long as people send me these dumb messages and try to, you know, put their thumb on me like I'm, you know, a lesser species of a human because they're so important, I will keep talking. Because you can't treat people like that. You can't. It's not allowed. It is not allowed. Not allowed. Particularly by me. I invented passive aggressive. You're not going to be passive aggressive to me. So when somebody says to me, you shouldn't judge, you don't know if their safety plan was inadequate. I'm going to leave you again with the emergency instructions for the flood at Camp Mystic. In case of flood, all campers on Senior Hill must stay in their cabins. They will be given instructions through the loudspeaker. If the electricity is off, a walkie-talkie will be used. Food and other supplies will be delivered to Senior Hill by boat or truck. Campers and counselors never wander away from your cabin. Those on the flats must also stay in their cabins unless told otherwise by the office. All cabins are constructed on high, safe locations. But it wasn't true. And they followed that emergency plan. They followed it. They followed it. They stayed in those cabins. And as the one mama wrote to me, Carrie Hannah, her daughter was sucked out the window of the cabin. What am I reading it from, Sue? I was reading it from their emergency post.
And well, I was way too, what? Never mind.
So I had a really nice message also this afternoon that said this. Hey, just watched your YouTube. I had commented on your first post as a Mystic camper with 15 members of my family having attended, but also a neighbor of 6 of the girls. I also had a pink Janie Hunt backpack driven to my house to give back to the family. In it, flowered labeled clothes. I gave it to her dad. It is astounding to me the pushback you and others, and friends to me honestly, have gotten. I choose the 26 families every day of the week. Whatever they want is what should happen. Hard stop. Hard stop. And that's it right there. This is their time to talk. Anyway. So, whatever turds out there, you want to keep sending me messages, emailing, all sorts of things, go ahead. But I'm just telling you, after tonight, I will publish a list. I'll send all your messages. Do not message me anymore. If you want to argue with me, go ahead and argue right there on the post. Let everybody see the ridiculousness of stuff you're saying. That you were in so-and-so's wedding and they were your fraternity brother and you're the 7th generation to have come over on the Mayflower and you had on a Camp Mystic hat. I want you to sit in the back seat and I want you to let these families feel loved and supported. And to say, you know what, we're not going to open up. We're not going to support opening Camp Mystic. We've got a lot we need to do to get it safe. You know, we've got a lot to do. We got to get Camp Mystic accredited. We've got to find seal. We've got to move all these cabins. There's a lot to do. You know, Camp Mystic Lake, Cypress Lake, Camp Mystic Cypress Lake. There's stuff that needs to, their cabins aren't all, you know, up in the mountains. I just can't imagine that morning getting a call and saying, Adrian, Blair is not accounted for, and me thinking of my 8-year-old Blair. She was 7 when she went to Camp Seafair for 2 weeks. And I never thought she wouldn't be safe, but Camp Seafair is accredited. You know, they had, I knew if a hurricane was coming, they were going to have us go pick them up, you know. And then not to hear anything else, like nobody calls you back the rest of the day to say anything. You know, what does that feel like? You know, what does that feel like? I don't even think most of us can let ourselves go there. It's so dark of a place. But if anything, we have to be willing to feel the dark so that we can be light for them. And maybe that'll help you, people that feel like they're more important than these families. Like, your M is not more important. Next summer is not more important. Like, you're not as important. The jig is up. It's up. pretend, Wonka Village is done. It's up.
You know me. I still want cereal.
And love to the families. Always love to the families. And you can message me or email me all you want. And if there's anything I can share or help you with, I am honored to do that. Yeah, and those families who celebrated the M ceremony that night, what are you teaching your teenagers? I don't know. I think you're teaching your teenagers, we're more important than these families hurting.
And I always like what that trying to say.
Your camaraderie does not overshadow the deaths of these little girls. It shouldn't have. And that was really hurtful. Like, that's something that, as a parent, that was really a wrong turn. I don't blame the teenagers or the children, but I mean, at some point, I bet one of them is going to write that as a college essay. Like, wow, I went to a party the night of Lenny McCown's funeral to get my M. I think that was inappropriate. I wonder why my parents did that. Why did somebody plan that party that night? Was that the right thing to do?
Small name.